Hello, crafters. Welcome to my craft room. I hope you're all having a lovely Wednesday afternoon. It is a gorgeous day here on the west coast of Ireland, and I'm hoping that you're having just as lovely weather as what I'm having too. So I'm going to have a look in the chat. I see that we have Benita is there, my moderator, as well as Mad Mike, who's my husband. Go back to work, Mike. My lovely daughter Alicia is there. Hello, Alicia. Hi, Jane. I presume Jane, my little granddaughter, is watching. So, hello, Jane. If you're watching, Nana, hi. Who else do we have in the chat? We have Beth, we have Caroline, we have Sarah, we have Pauline, we have Donna. Hello to everyone. I'm going to presume, as my moderator hasn't blasted out the chat there or messaged me on Messenger to say we've no chat, we've no sound, you've no picture. I'm presuming everything is looking good. So I'm delighted with that. Missy is here as well. Jenny from Australia, not from, what was Jenny from the hood? Jenny from Australia. Laura is here. Anna is here. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted. We have 17 in the chat right now. Isn't that awesome? Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube live stream today. So today I'm going to focus on, as per usual, some made to surprise products. I'm working with the showstopper mechanism that came out in March. I love this mechanism. It's super cool. I have a couple of videos with it as well as another live with it, and it's awesome. This Friday is going to be the launch of Sam's latest collection, and I cannot wait to see what is coming in that and start crafting with it. I purchased the product all myself. I do have a link to Craftworld. You'll see a pinned link there in the channel, and that is my link. It's an affiliated link. So if you're going to purchase anything in Craftworld, I'd love for you to use my link because it means I'll get a little kickback and it'll cost you nothing extra. What a surprise, Simone. So I'm going to move down to the table now. We're going to have a look at the products that I'm going to use for this card. I'm going to do some colouring with you. So fingers crossed, I'll be able to zoom in. And yeah, so I'm going to move down to the table. So hello. This is the mechanism that came in the March 2026 kit, the 6x6 showstopper mechanism die, and it is a doozy. I do love it. I'm also going to be using this stamp. I love this stamp of the three ladies sat at the beach, the lake, in the garden, wherever. But I love this image and I wanted to colour this image. This is Life's a Beach A5 stamp. There's great sentiments with it as well. I'm not going to be using any of the sentiments from this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the sentiment from this one. This is Paint the Town Red, and it's the three ladies out on the town. So I was thinking I might use the age is just a number. There is a sub sentiment that, and it says age is just a number, but wine is timeless. I'm thinking of stamping this and just having that on the card. So we'll have to wait and see. The papers I'm using are these. This is the Let the Good Times Roll, and that's what this collection is called. I'm going to use the water looking ones that's here. I hope you can see that. I've also pulled out this Sentiments A5 stamp set. I'm thinking of using either the Happy Birthday or It's Your Day, something like that, to stamp inside. So I'll see what I choose when I get that far. You know what I'm like? It's usually the last thing I do. I'm also going to use this, All the Sentiments. It's a stamp and die set. You get the dies, which you get your word and shadow as well as a stamp set to go with it. And there's lots of big words in this one. And I'm going to use the celebrate. That's the one I'm going to use. So I want to put celebrate above the ladies, and then underneath I was thinking age is just a number, happy birthday. I'm going to see how I go. I might just put all that inside. And then finally, I'm going to die cut out my lovely image of my ladies using these. They're the nestable scalloped circles. Now these are Creative Craft Products nesting dies, which was a Craft Stash, and Craft Stash are gone now. But sure, look, you're bound to have circle dies or a saucer or a plate or something in your stash. So I have everything here ready to go. I've stamped my 3 ladies already. Where are they? They're in here. I have them stamped already because I'm going to use my alcohol markers with them. And I do like to use the VersaFine Tuxedo Black. And I find if I stamp them and give them a few minutes, this one, I misplaced this one because I stamped this and I stamped another one, which I have up here. Sorry about that. Ready to go. And I put this in a box just over there. And so when I came in to prep, I was like, where is that gone? I couldn't find it. So I stamped it again. And that was 25 minutes ago. So should be good. If you're using VersaFine Tuxedo Black or the Nocturne VersaFine Clear ink, then blast it with your heat tool if you're a little bit worried. But I find generally when I'm colouring using those 2 inks, which I prefer to Memento, I find Memento to be a dull black, and it takes me multiple stampings to get a good stamping. Even though I've purchased 2 different stamps, ink pads, I've bought a re-inker. I don't like it, so I tend to use the VersaFine, which is what I like to use. So just give it time. I don't go over the stamped area with my alcohol markers as well, so you'll see that when I'm colouring. Okay, am I missing any of the chat? There's James. Hello, XJ Pearl. It's a family friend from America. Thank you for tuning in. You're so good. I'm delighted now you've got to see Mad Mike. He should still be in the chat. Yes, he is. They're having a conversation. XJ James is a friend of Mike's, so from previous gaming. I'll say no more. Becky is there. Good morning, Becky. Hope you're well today. And James said, I pray everyone had a glorious Easter. Well, we had a good Easter. It wasn't glorious because the weather was not good. But we got a polytunnel moved. We got the garden sorted out. I was aches and pains after the weekend. But it was all really, really good. Anne is joined us as well. Hello, Anne. Welcome to the chat, Anne. I hope you enjoy the live. And yeah, okay, so I am going to make an A7, which for us here in Ireland and the UK, we call it 5x7 card. But in the US, it's known as an A7 card. So for an A7 card, generally a 5x7 would be a side opening. Now what I did was I purchased a pack of 10x7 and I cut them in half to give me a 5x7, which means I have a top folding 5x7 card base. Now if you don't have one of these in your stash, then cut yourself one piece of 5x7, cut yourself another piece and have that 5x7.5, and on the long side score that at a half, and that'll give you a tab that you can join the 2 pieces together. Now I have an extra score line on this one. I've scored it at 3.5 because that is going to give me my easel card. And when you do an easel card, if you fold it over like so. It'll give you this pop-up piece, and I will burnish that. So an easel card generally sits like this. You put a piece, a topper or whatever you want on the top of this, and then it stands up. Now you have to put a stopper in there to stop it from just sliding closed. What I like to do is I like to add a tent fold piece into this, and this will actually form a base piece across here, and it helps it stand without having to put a stopper in here. And generally a stopper is a couple of layers of cardstock thick, or it's a foam piece, and I just don't like doing that. So my tent fold piece, this measures, it's, let's see, it's a little over 4 inches. This was an offcut that I grabbed. So because this area is 5, I like to do it a little less than 5 so that it's not sticking out. So you can do it 4, 4, 4 and 3/4, 4 and 7/8, anything like that. And then on the short side, you want to score it. Now I've this scored at 1/2 inch, 1.5 and 2.5. And when you burnish those folds, which I shall do here, it'll give you like a W shape. And what we'll do is we're going to attach that in here like so, and then on there like that. So when this piece opens, it'll open flat the 3-inch amount, and that means that our easel won't open any more than 3 inches. And I love that idea. So whether you like a traditional easel or a bridge, a tent fold easel is up to you. I'm going to make a tent fold easel, so I'll add that on when we get to that point. Now I also have a piece of 5x7, and this is going to sit on here like so. So when the recipient gets the card, it'll sit like that, and then this piece will be attached onto the back of our easel like so, and it will sit up like that. So we'll have a full 5x7 panel on the front, and onto that I've got a piece of 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and I'm going to add that on there like so. And then onto that I'm going to add my double diamond mechanism. That's what I'm calling it. I don't think Sam actually gave this a name. It's just a 6x6 mechanism is what it's called on the packaging. But I like to call it a double diamond because you do end up with these two square shapes that, because of the orientation, they look like diamonds to me. So this is going to sit on the front here, and then we're going to cover up these side pieces with 2 panels. Now these panels measure, let me see, 2 1/8 by 6 1/2. And the reason they're 2 1/8 is because we need to leave a gap in the middle. So I'll pop them on there. I'll make sure they have a nice border, the same on the top, bottom and left, and the top, bottom and right. But the gap in the middle here will allow for our diamond fold. So if I bring this one in to show you, it'll look like this when it's done. And then we'll put our ladies up here and our sentiment up here. So that's just one I was playing with earlier. And then I've got my celebrate piece, which is going to go on the top. I have a little piece of pattern paper. It was an offcut. And as well as that, I have the cream cardstock that I'm using throughout the card. So this piece measures 4 3/4 by 1 inch. And then my pattern paper measures 4 1/2 by 3/4 inch. And I'll pop this inside to decorate because I love doing that with my cards. I like to bring what's going on the outside to the inside. and then we'll have our lovely ladies. Now, I stamped this and I fussy cut it out, and I cut it out on the lines, and then I also made sure to cut in between the little gaps as well. So what I want to do is, I have stamped the image here. I want to, have I got, no, I've got a bit of muck on that. Let me see. I've got a little bit of mucky moo on that. Okay, perfect. That will do nicely. So what I want to do is, I'm going to pop this over my ladies, and I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending. So I want to pull in the colors between my water and my sandy color, which is my little cardstock, which is the 2022 cardstock, not the most recent little cardstock, which I don't think is getting very good reviews. Anyway, I want to do some background. I want to do some blue on this, and for that I'm using the water reactive dye. This is Harmony in baby blue, so it's Spectrum Noir Harmony water reactive dye ink, and it's in baby blue. And although I have, I don't know, let me see, although I have lots of colors here in my Distress Oxides, I didn't quite have the blue I wanted. So I think this blue will be really nice. And I'm also going to use some of this. This is the VersaCraft. So you've got the VersaFine, the VersaFine Claire, and then you have VersaCraft. And that's all the same kind of brand. These I got from Love from Lizzie when I was a designer. But I love the sand color. So I'm going to do that, use that. So I'm going to do a bit of ink blending. I'm going to do a bit of alcohol marker coloring. We'll assemble the card. We'll do a bit of stamping. We'll have a little chat. I'll try and keep up with the chat in the with the live. Benita will be there as well. She'll be monitoring, and if there's anything I'm missing, she will put in capital letters. But also, if you want to address me with a question or whatever, please put it in capital letters, and that way I won't miss it. And if I do miss anything, Benita will give me a shout and I can scroll back. So let me see, have I missed anything? Oh yeah, Benita said, remind everyone to give a thumbs up. I would much appreciate if you could hit the thumbs up button down there. We've got 22 people watching. Hello to everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. We have DIY Dream Weddings UK, and I've been trying to I can't remember your name. Do put it in the comments there. I can refer to you as DIY Dream Weddings UK, or you can let me know your name, but thank you for joining as well. And thanks to everyone who is in the background, maybe watching on your TV or just chilling out, maybe doing a bit of knitting or crafting or something in the background. Thank you for joining me. So I think what we'll do is, I think I might assemble the card first, then do some ink blending, and then do our colouring in with our markers. The markers that I am using are the Expert Co. And these are ones that I got from Smith's Toy Store. Now, apparently, Smith's Toy Store is in 300 places around the world. And there's a number of them in Ireland and the UK and Europe, etc. So I got these at Christmas as a gift from Hobby. Now, they're not Ohuhus, they're not Copics, they're not like Olos. They are a cheaper brand marker, but they're an alcohol marker. I'm not a great colorist, so I didn't want to go spending out on the expensive markers until I upped my game with my colouring. So for that reason, these are perfect. They were €49, and I think they still are that price in Ireland. So if you want to, if you're interested in starting coloring and you're watching people coloring and you're like, I don't know if I want to spend the big money um, buying Ohuhus and that. Well, start with a regular alcohol marker. There's loads of brands, absolutely loads. Spectrum Noir, there's Altenew, and all of them. There's loads of markers out there. But my thing was, if I start with a cheap lot and I'm not very good, then I haven't wasted a lot of money in my crafting. But as it goes, I'm actually enjoying using it. So what I did during the Easter break was, when I originally got them, I took a piece of computer paper and I did a swatch sheet and coloured it in. And then I realised really I should have colour swatched on the paper that I'm using to colour my images. And I'm using an inkjet paper. The one that I'm using, there's two. There's Viking Direct do one, and what's the other one? The other one is Navigator. Now the Navigator one I think is 120 GSM, and I want a little heavier for doing my colouring. So I use the Viking Direct paper, which is 160 GSM, and I'll stamp on that and colour my images. And then what I'll do is I'll scan them onto, using my printer, I'll scan them into the laptop. And that way, if I want to print them then again and I don't want to have to colour them, I'll use the Navigator paper to print up my scanned images. I found so far, of the 4 different brands that I have tried, the Navigator would be my favourite, and a very, very close second. Like, it's really hard to tell the difference, would be the Viking Direct. And for those of you in the UK and Ireland, this is the Viking paper. So there's 250 sheets in this, and it's 160 GSM, and it's premium. It's for color printing. It's for inkjet, which is a really smooth, shiny white paper, and that's what I liked. So that's what I'm using. So now I've kind of gone on a bit, but I have all my colours pulled out and ready to go. I mostly use a 2 colour blend. Sometimes I'll go to 3, and I have some 3s pulled out, as in the number 3, not tree. So I have some colours here, but I will use this to reference if I want to pull out any more colours. So I'm going to sit them to the side. I'm going to move. I have some extra little paper that I've done my stamping on. I have these here. What I'll do is I'll do my colour swatch on them. And then Benita, who's a great colorist, said to me, when you're doing stuff like this and you're using your markers and you come across a nice 3 colour blend, well then what you should do is make a note of it. So what I'm doing is I have a 3rd sheet in here. So these are all my markers, and then I have a 3rd sheet here, and what I've started doing is putting down the numbers and the blend. So I'll put my dark, medium, light colors, and then I put the 3 of them together. I hope you can see that there. And that way I can see the blend. On this one I started with the light, medium and dark, and I thought, no, I think you're supposed to go dark, medium and light anyway. So that's my plan. As my colouring grows and I get better at it, I'll have a cheat sheet. So I'll know if I want a kind of a marmalade colour, well, they're 3 great colours that I have there for doing that. So that's what I'm at, and I hope that that helps other people. You know, because there's lots of colorists and they have great advice and all the things, but sometimes it's kind of hard to know, you know, what works for others. I'm very interested to know what other people do and what works for them, etc. So I have all those ready over there. I'm going to move this over there as well for my colouring. I'm going to do my assembly of my card first. Have I missed any comments, Benita? Let me see. Benita's answering a lot of them anyway. I see her there. Oh yes, did we get uh, dream weddings? Kim, Kim. Yes, I remember now. I think I remember Sam asking you what your name is. Kim. Lovely. Nice to see you here, Kim. Thank you for joining. Hillary is here. Hello, Hillary. First time to live on your channel. Well, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. I do tend to natter on. Talking and doing is not a strong point of mine. I tend to stop doing when I start talking. But sure, look, we're in no hurry here. We're all just crafting away, having a good time. So welcome, Hillary. Let's see. Oh, Anne got a craft consortium order today. She's looking forward to having a play. Well, you lucky duck. There's Hayley. Hayley is Hayley's Cards, and she's the DT for Sam from Mixed Up Crafts, or Made to Surprise. So welcome, Hayley. It's lovely to see you in the chat. Hayley is growing her channel. She has a YouTube channel, as does Benita, who is under a pile of papers. So you'll probably spot there's lots of great crafters in the chat. So do pop over and see their channels. Let me see. Cara, another fabulous crafter and creator, is Little Rabbit Designs. Welcome, Cara. I hope you're doing well in the course. Cara's studying hard at the moment. I'm very impressed with her. Let's see. You are doing so good with your colours, Simone, Benita said. That was in capital letters, so I couldn't miss it. Thank you. I am enjoying it. I really am enjoying it. And there's so many great alcohol marker colorists out there to learn from. Pauline said, what a good idea. Never thought of doing that. And I do presume you're talking about the colour swatching and keeping a note of my colour blends. Yeah, I think that will be a good thing going forward. It just, to me, colouring with alcohol markers, this is going to sound funny, but I found it very scary. So when I started colouring, I got Spectrum Noir alcohol markers, and I think there was 120 markers, and I didn't use them a lot because I didn't understand colour blends and, you know, putting 2 or 3 or 4 colours together and getting them to blend. And as I was watching other crafters colour, I was picking up on how it's done. But I was still struggling with all my markers. And actually Benita, my friendship with Benita really helped me with that, because she said to me, what you need to do is sit down with your colours and sort through them and swatch them out so you can get to see them and get to know them. So that's what I did, and that really did help. And then seeing the likes of Sam colouring and others like Kelly Taylor Evans, do you know, that really helped as well. So then I got the tri-blends, the Spectrum Noir tri-blend markers, and they were the making of me, because those markers, literally, if I pull one out here, pull out a pink one. So the Spectrum Noir markers, they come with a dark, which is at one end, then you've got your medium, and then you've got your light. And for someone who wouldn't consider themselves a colorist, this for me was a game changer, because I knew I needed to start with my light color, do a medium, then a dark, and then come back through. That's generally the consensus when you're coloring. Now, I could start with a dark. I'm just all over the place now. I'm that relaxed about it. But this really got me coloring and enjoying it. And then with that, I don't have a whole lot of colors in this. So that's when Mike got me the pack at Christmas. And it was great, you know. I have them all there in my little holder. I put up a little post at Easter to say, oh, this is what I'm doing at the moment on my craft desk. What are you doing? So if you're interested to see how I stack and store my markers, then if you have a look on my Facebook page, you'll see exactly how I do it. Now, you've seen me, I'm here and I've been burnishing the score lines on this piece. And now what I'm just doing is I'm coaxing the cardstock how I want it. So I'm pinching in these two here and these two. It is a little bit faffy, a little bit, you know, getting them to fold over, but once you do, they are great. Now I'm using 300 GSM cardstock for this. You're not really supposed to, because it can crack, but the cardstock I'm using is very good. I think it is actually it feels a little less than 300 GSM to me, although it does say 300 on the packaging. It feels like 280 or 290, but I found that this works fine. So that's our mechanism that's going to sit on the front of our easel card. And I'm going to bring out my actual card base now, and I'm going to assemble that. So I want to pop first, I'm going to pop this panel, my matte layer, onto my front panel. And to do that, I'm going to bring in my trusty Kalal glue. Now, these come in different size bottles. I get the big 1 litre bottle and I decant it. And I was decanting into bottles, do you know, that you get from Amazon. This was a bottle of Accent Glaze by Made to Surprise. This is the old bottles. She's now done a new recipe and it comes in a, I think it's the same amount, but it's a more squat bottle. But I find the tip on this is brilliant for the Kalal. So, oops. That's what I like to use a lot of the time. Kalal is a clear glue and it is a construction glue. So anyone who watches my channel will know when Kalal glue dries, it dries hard and you get like a chipboard effect, but it gives strength. But I just like it as a glue because if it oozes out, it just wipes off. It's like when you use an eraser. And it doesn't leave a shiny residue, so that's always good. I was using the Tombow glue when I started crafting, but that stuff is so tacky, and if it oozed out it left a sticky residue. I did not like it at all. I know a lot of the Americans were using Tombow as well as the European ones, but I think more so the US crafters do. But now with the Gina K Connect glue and the Burley Arts glue, it's kind of getting away from that. I think it's mostly Stampin' Up is still using the Tombow, but I just don't like it. So that's great for that, and that is going to get glued on just to this bottom panel here. But before I do that, I want to stick down my tent fold. Jeanette Morrison, good afternoon Jeanette, thanks for tuning in. Jeanette says, what are you making? Well, I'm making an easel card my way. I'm putting a tent fold on the bottom so I don't need to have a stopper, and I'm also going to I'm using the March mechanism from Sam. So you can stick your tent fold in that way, or you can stick it in this way. It's up to yourself. either way, it's only going to open as much as this here. So each of these two are 1.5 inches. So that means it's only going to come down 3 inches. So that then gives us 4 inches to play with. Keep it clean now. Keep it clean. And that's what I like. So if you wanted it to open more, you would just, we'll say, do this at 2 and 2. So you'd have a half, 2, 2, and another half. And that will bring it down 4 inches. So it's up to yourself. I'm going to use my quick grab glue to stick this on, and I got this Sweet Petunia glue press from hubby for Christmas, and I have to say I love it and I hate it. I think if you have issues with, you know, with your hands and squeezing glue and everything, I think it's brilliant. But I find, even though the tip is meant to work so that it doesn't, you know, get clogged, it does sometimes. So I tend to just sit mine in the press like so. But Benita has said to me, no, when you leave the craft room, you need to put the pin in it and, you know, recap it. It'll stop that. But listen, who has the time to do that? Like, when I'm leaving the craft room, I'm off doing things. 99.9% of the time, I never put that in. And I don't know, maybe that's why sometimes it clogs up. But I mean, I could pull any of my plethora of glues over there out, and I'd probably find all them as well clog and everything. So I think with the white glue, it can be hit and miss. But the glue itself is a tonic glue, and tonic glue is awesome. It's as good as the Cosmic Shimmer or the Gina K Connect glue or any of them, because it's a quick grab glue. It doesn't leave any residue. And let me just stop to concentrate a minute now so I do this right. It does the job beautifully. So now I'm just adding this. Let me see if I can show you. I'm adding that on here like so. There we go. Lovely. So that's as far as it's going to sit now. It'll only open that much. So I don't need to have a stopper there to stop it sliding along. And it also means if you want to do a card where, you know, your if you want to do a card where you don't want to put any foam or anything on it, then the thing about this is you don't have to have any bulk, you know, at all. So now, and then you can have it so that it folds back like this and comes out of the card like so, out of your envelope, I mean, like so. Or you can have it so that it folds in like that. Now you do have the folded over piece. And that's the thing with the tent fold here. It's that it's not going to, what would normally happen is this whole thing would open to fold flat, but with the tent fold it doesn't. But this is what I prefer. So generally I would pop it like that into my envelope, and this is what the recipient will see. And then when the whole thing opens, it sits out like that. Or again, like I said, you can fold it down like that and pop this up, and this can become the front of your card. It's up to yourself. So we have that done, and I'm just thinking now, should I stick this on? Benita is laughing. I don't know why. Good idea with the tent fold thing to hold it. Yeah, I do like that, Jeanette. Me too. Love it and hate it. Kim says it's a love-hate relationship. Yeah, glue, love-hate indeed. It's like Marmite. Mmm. Do you know, all my family love Marmite, but I don't. Mad, isn't it? My glues are a hit and miss, Jeanette said. All of them, yeah. My Sizzix hot glue gun is a footballer at the moment, Jeanette said. Dribbling all over the place. I didn't quite know where you were going with that, Jeanette. That's brilliant. I love it. Here, I'm going to stick this down. And yeah, I'm going to add glue to this panel. And I'm going to use the collal. And then we'll stick our front panel onto that. Lovely. That will sit like so. Great. And then this, now with our mechanism, that's going to sit on the front. And I'm going to have that set in nice and tight like that. So when the card is open, we'll have a little bit of dimension from that, but not as much as if it was open the whole way. So what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of tape on the inside here to hold this, and this is just a little cheat because it will make it easier for us to attach it onto the back here. So in a video I did showing, I didn't do this, but I did say this would be a handy thing to do. It just make it easier for the gluing in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have that like that, and that is going to sit in here, and I'm going to make sure that it has the same amount at the top as at the bottom, just like that. I'm going to try and get that in there nice and straight. So for that, I think I will use the quick glue because I want it to grab pretty quickly, and the collal glue takes a little bit longer. So if I use the quick grab glue, hopefully it'll grab quicker. But we have tweezers, well, squeezers, because they're reverse tweezers. They can hold it in place, and if not, I've got some pegs. So we'll add some glue to the back of this. And I just keep having a look at the time because I don't want to be nattering on too much and keeping everyone too much. Lovely. Now I have got a nice big acrylic block. I'm going to sit that there for a moment. I'm going to move that, and I'm going to take my pattern paper and I'm going to attach that. Now this was one piece that I cut down, so I want them to sit this on this side and this on that side. So I'm going to have them there so I know. Kim says, I use hot glue, double-sided or Pritt stick, looking at other glues for card making. See, I think, yeah, glue is like Marmite. What some people like, others don't. it's a hard one. But I have to say, if I was to pick a favourite for glue, it would be the Barely Art glue or the tonic glue. I think they're brilliant. And I do like the Cosmic Shimmer. I did like the Craft Stash white glue as well. I thought that was very good. What way did I have that now? I think it was that way, yeah. Try not to get glue on the desk, Simone. Right, so I'm going to feed this underneath the mechanism like so, and try and get that nice and even. So I'm focusing on not making a mess, and focusing on my top and my bottom and the sides being the same. That glue oozed out, but that's the great thing now, it'll just rub away. Again, I'll sit that down like that and add some liquid glue to this panel. Anne said her Sizzix hot glue is the same, Jeanette. I feel like it wastes so much. I have to say, I have a glue gun that I got from Amazon, and it's a cordless one, and it has a timer. If you don't use it within like 3 or 5 seconds, or is it a bit longer? I think it takes 3 to 5 seconds to heat up, and after 10 seconds or something, if it's not used, it turns itself off. And I find that one brilliant. But if I want my liquid adhesive, my hot glue, to get really liquid and hot, then I use my Sizzix hot glue gun. I have it just down there hanging on a hook, and I find that brilliant. But I've had a scary moment or two where I left it on all night and I didn't realize it, like came down the next morning, and it gave me an awful fright to come in and find it left on. So there we go. We have a little bit of dimension there, but it'll fold relatively flat to go in. So I'm going to pop my Celebrate up here like so, and then I have my matte and layer to go across the bottom. So I don't need to do anything here other than maybe add a sentiment, but I'm going to add a little bit of glue to these now, and I'm going to stick them down, and that way then I can concentrate on my colouring in of those fabulous ladies. I can then use my stamp positioner to stamp my sentiment and pop that in, and that will be grand. Lovely. And they can all be drying while I'm getting on with other things, and I'm going to have a little drink of water, and I came prepared because I don't have a mic here to get me water. Lovely. That is great. So it's not how this mechanism was intended to be used by Sam, but it's my favorite way of using it. So I'm chuffed with that. So I'm going to move that over here, just out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to cap my glue. Oh, there's a great big conversation going on in the chat regarding hot glue and how much it wastes as it oozes out. James said Benita is a good egg. She is, James. She's a very good egg. Jeanette says I'm seeing kites. Yeah, it does look like kites, doesn't it? Yeah, very much so. Looks like kites. Oh, and Kim from DIY Dream Wedding said she left hers on, her hot glue gun on all night once. It's a scary thing to walk back into your craft room and to have found it on. And generally, you know, before I go to bed at night, go to the bathroom, brush the teeth, go for a pee, all the things. And I'll generally come down to make sure I haven't left a light on or something. But I'm now I have to plug it in on an extension lead over there. So when I'm finished crafting, there should only be my Google plugged in over there. So I can look at that extension, see the one plug, and know everything's out that should be out. So that's what I tend to do. I'm going to have another quick swig. Oh, lovely. I'm trying to drink more water. That's not working out very well for me. But anyway, right, so now we're going to get on to the colouring. Now, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my ink blending first. So usually what I would do is take a post-it note, stamp it onto that, because a post-it note has some tack on it. You can use a low tack tape, or I think the Tombow glue is good for repositionable kind of thing. I used a runner tape that I have in my stash. It is not a reusable one, but I put a little bit on here and there, and then I kind of took the tacky off it. So hopefully that is going to work for me. Now, I have taken some sheets, and what I've done is I've put non-slip matting at the back of them, and I've put them through my laminator, and that is what I use when I'm doing a bit of ink blending. I also have one that I've made up for to set my ink pad onto, and if Lynette was here she'd say, where is it, Simone? Oh, it's not where it's meant to be. Anyway, so I'm going to do a little of the blue, and I'm just going to be careful of my my little ladies that I'm going to use. So I'm going to blend off of them, and I'm going to die cut this out, remember, using one of my dies. So it's going to be die cut in a circle, and that's going to sit onto my card panel. So I just want to highlight the ladies by putting a little aura of blue on them, and then having the sand color around them, so it gives the image of, you know, sand or water, etc. around them. So I'm not going to be too precious about my ink blending. I'm not going to stress about it. Crafting should be something fun and that you enjoy, and sometimes I get so wrapped up in the perfection of getting it done right, and I have to remind myself perfection is overrated, Simone, so don't be stressing the small stuff, so I won't. Okay, so I think this is going to dry a lot lighter. This is a new brush, so it's not very loaded with these colors, so, and I'm going in very light-handed, and I'm going to actually take the die and have a look to see, what did I do with that? It's here. So I'm going to take the die out. I know I want to use this one. So when I die cut this out, my panel is going to sit on my card front like so. So I can bring it down further, or I can sit it in the middle. This is the size. So if you're interested, this die measures in and around 4 3/4. So I'm going to sit that on like so. So I know this is the area I want blue, and I want my sandy color down there. So it's just to give me an idea of where my colors need to be. Okay, I think that's enough. And now I'm going to go with my sand color, and I think this one is much juicier. Yes, look, it's much juicier. So again, I'm going to come down from my ladies. Just like that. And by blending off them rather than coming up and the mask moving. If I come from them and down, hopefully I'll have a better effect, you know, and I won't end up with ink underneath them. I want to make sure that I get around by their hands and stuff. I think that looks good. Yeah, that looks grand. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that's our little bit of ink blending done. And I'm going to move that out of the way. Let's see. Love the way this is coming together. Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Fun and relaxing, Benita says. It is. That's because you have good taste. Is that for me, James? Or is that directed at someone else? Okay, so Benita taught me when you're using alcohol markers that you should have something like something plastic beneath. And the reason for that is it helps the alcohol marker flow when you're coloring in. Now, I have these, I think they're like a two-sided pocket, and I use these a lot for putting my dyes into and everything. You can get ones like this and they're an envelope with a little button. That's what Benita uses. My desk cover, this is a photographic background for that photographer uses, so it has that plastic on it, but I don't tend to like to color directly onto this. I would either use my laminated sheet and have that underneath, or I would use a plastic sheet like this. And I have to say, I do find that it does help with the coloring. So I hope it's not bouncing too much of the light now up for you that you're watching. But if you're colouring with alcohol markers and you just do it straight down onto your desk, have a look and see if using something like this you find your colouring, the ink flow and how it spreads works better. Now, let's see. Oh, that came out fabulous. Let me just zoom in. I've got my mouse here, but after a while it goes to sleep. So let me just do that. I should have done that for the blending. I totally forgot. But that is how our blending looks. There's our three ladies. I will put this with the stamp so I'll be able to use it again. And we have our three ladies now waiting to be coloured. So I'm going to bring in my little sheets, and they're on the other side here. So I'm going to, oh, there we go, it's moving. So I've got my papers here off to the side. I'm going to bring in my markers and I'm going to have them up here, so I'll be able to pull from them, and I will keep my color chart nearby, and that way if I want to change colors or whatever I can reference them. So I'm going to again zoom back down into the table or onto the table, and that way then we can have a look at the colors. So I was thinking on going my yellowy marmalade colors for the hat, a lovely blue bathing suit, and all those things. So I'm going to start with my three colors here. I'm using 34, 1565 and 135, and after the live is finished I will make a note of the numbers and I will add them into the description of the video, and that way then if anyone else has them and they want to see what they're like, they'll know. So I like to just kind of color off a little bit so I can see, right, that's my light, then this is my medium, and this is my dark. Yeah, So I'm happy with that. And I will keep these positioned like this on my desk because you can't go by the caps. And I think it's true of all the colours out there, all the different markers. You can't go by the caps. You have to go by the actual colour in it itself. So I'm going to start by colouring it all in light colour. And do it all in the light, and I'll probably give it a blue ribbon to go with the blue swimming costume. So now, and I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. I'm a very slow colorist, and usually I'll sit here with my tongue out. So I'm going to try and be fast, keep my tongue in my mouth. And watch the comments. Jeanette says she loves that. Very cool, Kim says. Ooh, that looks awesome, Pauline said. Beautifully blended, Anne. Oh my gosh, I'll be the colour of a strawberry with all the compliments you're giving to me. You're very nice. Thank you so much. Okay. So if I was colouring and I was just here by myself, I would take my time. You know, I'd be listening to a podcast. In all reality, I'd probably be here crafting with Benita. Yeah, so I'm going to try and speed it up. So, like I said, I'm not a colorist, but generally your darkness comes from the shadows. So we would have shadows here along where the ribbon is. We'd have shadow underneath the brow of the hat, and around here, and a little bit maybe over the top. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow. I know a lot of people will kind of do dark to the outside, bring the middle color in, and then have the center bright. But I just kind of go by what looks good to my eye. And sometimes I don't think that looks good to my eye. So I just do what does. So please don't be watching me if you're looking for colouring techniques. And I'm going to move back into my medium colour, and I'm going to pull that out a little bit from where I did my dark colour. And then onto that, I'm going to add my light colour back in. And there you go. That's it. I'm not stressing the small stuff. I'm not going to be freaking out about, oh, well, there isn't any over here. And, you know, the light hits things differently. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put them back in, and I'm going to do the little ribbon coming out of her hat. So again, I will colour out my 3 colours to make sure I've got my light, medium and dark, which is what I'm doing here, and I'm happy with that. So again, you could start with your dark color. I mean, I'm equal opportunity. So I'll go in with a little bit of dark, then in with a little bit of medium. And I think the general consensus is start with your light color, and that way you don't go in with too much dark and then be like, oh no, I put in too much dark. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a bit of colouring. You know, don't sweat the small stuff. There we go, that'll do me. Now I'm going to start the light with, on the cozy, I have bought those folders, so I will use them going forward. Oh, you're talking about the plastic sleeves. Yeah, I love them. You could just laminate a sheet, you know, take a laminating pocket, put it through without any paper or anything in it, and just use that. Would work perfectly as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with my light. I think I need to go to Specsavers, to be honest. Because I could really do with coming in like that, but I don't want my head, my face coming under the camera. Benita, are you very impressed with how I have got the Logitech to zoom without actually pulling it down? Doesn't it look great? I'm so chuffed with that I don't have to move the camera, because my webcam is up here, and if I was to pull it down, sometimes what can happen is it blurs the image. Whereas what I've done is, this is the great thing about using OBS, either for recording your videos or to live stream. You can set up different scenes. So what I've done is I've cropped my webcam in the scene so it looks like I've zoomed in. It's so cool, and it was actually Mike's idea, because I was looking at a camera. I was saying to hubby, I'd really like to get a new camera so I can zoom in, and he was saying, why don't you zoom in having it in a different scene? Because Mike used to live stream before. Mad Mike, my hubby, is on YouTube as MJ is okay. He used to be a gamer. That's how himself and James XJ Pearl met, and he kind of got away from all that because he was working, and he actually has a brilliant video up on his channel talking about suicide, anxiety and depression, and it is an amazing video. If you know anyone that suffers for them, or you do yourself, I would really recommend having a watch. It's Mike on his motorbike, and he's just having a little chat about things and an experience that he went through. And I think those that have watched it will agree that it's a really good video. So that's MJ is okay on YouTube. That's my hubby, Mad Mike. So now we nearly have our swimming costume done. And I'm just going to finish off with the lighter color. I love these colors for denim. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. That looks good. So now I want to do some skin tones. So I have two markers, number 27 and 139. And again, I'm going to, this is the darker color, and this is the lighter color. I think those two should work well enough together, so I'm going to give them a try. I'm going to do the lighter color first. And then I'll do the darker color. Missy Blue says, I use cheap silicone kitchen mats for blending on. They stop the cardstock sliding and they're easy to clean. Well, that's a fabulous tip, Missy. Thank you so much for sharing that. I have to say, mine don't. It doesn't move around too much. It's not an issue. But like what I used on the back of my blending mat, my homemade blending mat, let me just move out. These you put under chopping boards, or woodworkers use them, and having these underneath the sheet is really good. It stops that movement. I don't have any under this sheet, but you could use that either. Look at me being so professional with my zooming out and my zooming in. um, yes, Simone, I can't wait for you to help me doing the same. Oh, that's Benita with the zooming in and the zooming out. It really is super cool. Okay. All right. How are we doing here for time? 3:10. Oh, we're doing all right. I think most people are happy to stay and watch while you're colouring and stuff. Let me have another. I need my. I'm after putting a little bit of the skin tone up here. So what I'm doing is, because I put some of my flesh color where it should be sky, what I'm doing is I'm taking the marker and I'm pushing the color back towards where I want it. Don't just go over it like so, because it blends it out. Whereas if you push the color back to where you want it to go, it'll move the color in the direction you want. So I wanted the color to be pushed from here back down here, so I pushed it down that way, and that's what that was a Christina Werner tip when I was watching her coloring, and it's so true, works so well. Okay, so darker color now, and I'm going to bring a little bit of my darker shade under where the hat is and along the back side of the arms, and this is going to be very subtle, and I'm okay with that because I didn't want to go too dark. I was kind of afraid on how that would look, so I'm going to go subtly with a 2-color blend, and that'll be grand. And I can always come back and go over this again if I want more of a color. I want a darker shade, you know. I think this should be good. Yeah, I do like that now. And I want to give that rounded look, like as if it's the hat's shade on the back there. Okay, so now we're moving on to our second girly. And I was thinking of doing her, what would you call it? What's the thing you wear at the beach? Oh my gosh, I had it in my head earlier. Sarong. It's like, you know, a sarong wrap or a cover. Anyway, I was thinking on doing that in green, but I do have a lovely purple. So what do we think for our middle lady? Should we go green or purple? So let me know in the chat. Green or purple? Laura is there. She said, I've made a quick pop-up box card. I'm obsessed with these at the moment. Deb Hallett is a good colorist. She puts a YouTube out every morning. You can usually find her on Sam's Live if you need help. Yes, I have seen her. I am actually, I think I'm subscribed to her. And I have watched her a few times. Yeah. Another good one. It's hard to remember everyone. Maybe if I bring in the color, there's the purples and there's the greens. Let me know, green or purple. Laura is heading away. Laura, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. We have 31 in at the moment. Woo! I'm blown away, guys. Thank you so much. I hope I'm entertaining you. Don't forget to press the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the live. Thank you so much. Her daughter is going on a date and she has been by herself for several years, and I hope this one is okay. Oh, fingers crossed for her. Let's see. Simone, your colouring is great. Oh, thanks, Jeanette. Sea foam. XJ Pearl. James, sea foam. Sea foam. It's like, what? Um, so of course Benita's going to say purple because it's one of her favorite colors, that and orange. Um, Missy says green. Pauline says purple. And James says 48. Again, another random number. James. Afternoon, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Oh, Lynn. Good afternoon, Lynn. I was talking about you earlier. Yeah, green or purple, Lynn? What do you think? I think we have two purples so far. Now we have two greens and a purple. I'm going purple. We've got 3-2, so I'm going purple. And like I said, I'm just doing a two color blend. So I've got my light and my dark. And I think they should be fine. I really should have gone with a third color, shouldn't I? Let's see. 87. 87. Let's take it out so I can see it better. That's 87. And this is 2582. So something. This is where I struggle. This is where I struggle. Picking out my three color blend. I think I might pull that one as the darker color. Or that one. That one. I'm going to go 527. So we'll have light, medium, and dark. That should work. Let's see. What's that? 527. Come on down, 527. Let's see how this looks with that. Ooh, I think we could go darker. 265. I'm going to try the 265. Yes, I like the 265. It's much darker. Okay, so we have our three color blend. So I'm going to start with my lighter color. And really, I suppose what I should do is go in and do all the skin tones first and then do all the, do you know what? Sure, this is grand. Now, concentrate on the edges, Simone. Because we don't want to colour outside the lines. I like this purple. It's kind of a pinky purple. Lynn said, there's no limit on how many times you can vote then, Benita. Just do what Simone does on my lives. Yeah, that's right. I shout at Benita when I'm watching her lives. Well, I actually moderate for her on her channel. And generally, it's all caps shouting at Benita. So, yeah. You go, girl. So I'm just going to color it all in. And then I'm going to use the lines as a good indicator of where my shading should be. Let's see how we get on. I am enjoying this. Sometimes I'm very conscious of, you know, I'm taking too long or, you know, not entertaining enough. I think a lot of creators worry about that. Attention span. Some of us can have the attention span of a toddler. That's me. But I do like a long live because I like to have it on in the background. Okay, there is our light. Let's go in with our medium. So I want to bring my medium under the collar. And then I want to go around by the arms. And I'm going to go over where my lines are. And then just where the, you know, where the clothes kind of folds. And then I'm going to bring in my medium color around by that. I've got a nice long hair on there. So I'm going in with my darker colour now over where I did my light colours, or my mediums, sorry, distraction there. So I'm reinforcing those areas where I went in with the medium. Then I'll go back with the medium and then back to light. Okay, now I want to bring a little bit of dark from the collar, and then from that in there. Ooh, where's my blender? Push that color back to where it came from. Push it back, push it back. Lovely. And I hope you can see where I push that back. Can you see? Because I pushed the purple back towards the purple, it hasn't left a smear. Now red is the devil's son. When you use a red marker, I think all things are off when it comes to doing that. So I've done my medium. Now I want to come back in with my light again, and I'm going to medium for the rest of the shirt. So again, I'm just pulling out where I've put my dark with the medium, and then I'll come back in with the light, and I'm just very artistically throwing that in, because when you sit and your shirt kind of relaxes down, it's not going to be perfectly straight at the back. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of the light, blend in the light there around the edge, blend in the light around there, and then I'm going to go over the whole thing there like that. Now, what do you think? I mean, it's pretty basic, but it sure isn't that grand. Won't that do? That'll do perfect. Now I want to add my lovely skin tones back on. So I'm going to go in with my lightest colour to under her neck. And then I'm going to give the alcohol a little time to dry off, and then I'm going to put a little shading just at the base of her neck there like that. Now while I'm here and I've got my light tones out, I'm going to do the arms here and legs of my little lady here. Now I'm a little shy on colour from in here from my blending, so I'll add a bit in. I'll have a look and see what's very close to that blue, and 182 looks very close. What other colour is very close? Let me bring in the back there. Yeah, I think, oh, 178 up here looks very close. I'm going to pull in 178 because this is going to be very white. And then I'm going to pull in the 182. And I'm going to add a little bit of that in as well. And it's just going to pull in the blue from the shading where it kind of didn't go in there around the top. And I have another bit here, look, that I missed out on. So that will fade as it lightens and as the alcohol comes off it, so that should be fine. Right, I'm happy with that now. I'll keep going. So I'm going to add a little bit of my lighter skin shade. Now I'm doing these all as a light toned skinned people because that's what's in my family. But you can do the skin tones any colors that you like, because there is a whole, we live in a very colorful world. Now, and I'm going to come in with my darker color. Just like that. Because I reckon she'd have a bit more color along the top and along by her swimming cozy. And then I'll go back in with my light color and blend that out. Lovely. She's got a bit of sunburn on her. Okay, so I think I'll give her a green colouring costume, a green colouring swimming costume. Red is so hard, Benita said. It is. It's so hard. It just bleeds everywhere. It's a colour I tend to stay away from. Yeah, I just, oh, scary. Okay, so I've got my light. I think that's my medium. No, it's my light. This is my medium. And then this is my dark. Okay, so I'm going to start with my light, and then we'll have the fun part of doing the hair. Okay. We'll do a little bit of medium around the edge there. And then we'll go in with our dark colour, because it would be darkest there around where the hair is. And just under the hair. Around there. She's got a lovely shape derriere, does our little girl there. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the light. Actually like how this is blended out. And then the medium. Lovely. That was quick. Now I know if what you're seeing on the screen is what I'm seeing on the screen, it doesn't look like a whole lot of difference here, but to me, to my eyes looking down, this does have a lot of contrast. I'm just going to come in again with my light. Yeah, I think I'm very happy with that blend. Now for the hair. So I have got a 2-color blend. I'm going to give this lady here some brown hair, and then I think I will have a look and maybe give this lady a black hair, but it'll be dark grays. So my light color is that, and my darker color is that. So I'm going to go in with my dark color, And all I'm going to do is S's. This is what I do when I'm doing my, I was going to say trolls, when I'm doing my gnomes. I just go in and do S's. Now, I'm sure there is a proper way to do this, but this is how I'm doing it. So whether I'm right or wrong, and I'm just going to fill in those S's. I think I may have to go in with a darker shade. We'll see how this looks. I hope my head isn't getting in the way. Am I missing any of the comments? Caroline says it looks great. Thank you, Caroline. The blending looks great, said Lynn. Mad Mike is back. What did I miss? Well, we were talking about you something wicked, Mike. Shame you weren't here. Ah, well. I was telling everyone about your motorcycle video and your little chat about anxiety and depression, etc. So that's all we were saying. It was all good. I think I'm going to go in with a darker colour. And I think the colour I'm going to pull in is something darker than 21. Let me see. I think I might pull in, let's see what 94 looks like. Oh, there's 93. I think that'll be very dark. Yeah, it's much too dark. Yeah, I think 97, and that's over here. Oh, where my comments are. Sorry about my arm in the way. Yes, I think that's lovely. I want her to look like she's got highlights in her hair. So again, I'm just doing S's. Sun-kissed. There we go. This is very beginnery. But this is the way that I kind of feel comfortable with doing hair, because when you look at hair, like even when I look at my own hair, there's all different colors and tones going through it, and I want that to reflect in the hair, but I'm not good enough at what I'm doing yet to be able to reflect that. So, but I think that looks good. And for me, I'm very pleased with that. What do we think? So I'm happy with that. Now, last lady's hair, I want to do in kind of greys and black. So I think the warm greys would be good colors to use, and I think I'll go with like 3, 5, and 8. So warm grey 3, 5, and 8. Let's see how they look. So let's have a little look. If I bring you up, so this is 3, this is 5, and then this is the 8. So I'm going to bring you back in again, and I'm going to go over it all in the 3. I bit my tongue eating lunch today. I made a lovely toasted ham and cheese sandwich, and I had a pack of Monster Munch with it. I love Monster Munch. but I bit my tongue having the toasted sandwich, and do you know the way it's just, it's just sore now. Okay. So I'm going around the outside in my medium color, and then I'm doing dots around the top, because she has her hair like mine. She has her hair all gathered up and piled on the top, and I think it has a bit of a curl to it. So that's the look that I'm giving my girls. So I'm going back in with I'm going in with my dark now around the edge, and I'm going to do some dots with that, and then I'm going to go back to the light. No, I'm going back to my medium, and I'm going to bring in that darker grey color, and then I'm going to go into the light in the middle. And there we go. There are our three ladies. So I'd like to think that I'm the one on the end. That's Benita in her purple top, and this is a crafty friend who's joined us. So are you the crafty friend? And if so, put your hand up. But I'm delighted with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep all my colors, and I'm actually going to move out now. There we go. I'm going to keep all my colors in my box. I'm going to add my new colors onto my sheet, my cheat sheet, and I'm also going to add the colors that I've used down into the description. And I know they're not the oh-hoo-hoos or, you know, the colors that a lot of you use, but just in case you have those markers or you have something similar that you can use, just to give you an idea. So I'm delighted with that. I'm going to take my die now, and I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to bring in my Big Shot, and I'm going to pop that in there. And I think if I bring it down that way, I could nearly stamp my sentiment down here if I bring it down. So I think I'll bring it down like that. Pop that through my die cutting machine. Okay, there we go. Oh, she's getting a bit stiff. Hey, I hate when it cracks and makes that loud noise, freaks me out. I'll put that back over there, and I'll move that back over here. And there we go. We have a nice scalloped edge. Oh, isn't that smashing? I'm very pleased with that now. So that is going to sit on my diamond like so. And it's great because it'll fold flat to go into the envelope, but it'll pop up a little. So that will sit like that. Now we've got our celebrate to go across the top like so. Maybe if I bring it down a little bit so you can see. And then we could stamp a sentiment, a little sentiment down here. So I think before I do anything, I'm going to stamp a sentiment in there, and then I can add that on. So I'm going to grab my stamping positioner, and we shall put that in here like so. And then what did I do with, okay, so we could put happy birthday. I love the idea of it's your day. I wonder will that fit? It's your day. And you can see I have that already. It's already been cut. I think that'll just fit in there. And yeah, celebrate. It's your day. And then inside I can put my happy birthday sentiment. Oh my goodness. I've just spotted. Oh, James, thank you so much. I wonder, can I give you? I can give you a heart. Thank you so much for giving me a super chat. That is so, thank you. I'm very embarrassed. Thank you so much. There is a little super chat button down beside where you leave your comments, and James is after giving me a super chat. That blows my mind, James. Thank you so much. My monthly donation for that blonde lass, even though she didn't do green in the middle. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you so much. I'm blown away by that. Benita said this looks fab. Kim said, what a creative idea. I love it. Thank you. Mad Mike says, use your something set and get it straight. I don't know. I can't see your full comment, Mike. So yeah, I think that's straight enough. If it wasn't a bit wonky somewhere, it wouldn't be a card of mine. That looks great to me. It's your day. That looks great to me. I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to stamp it with my VersaFine Claire, the Nocturne ink. So let's see how that looks. And I'm allowing the ink to transfer from the stamp. Perfect. It's your day. I love that. So that's it. It doesn't need another stamping. I love the VersaFine Claire inks. I think they stamp beautifully, especially for sentiments. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll probably need that again to put a sentiment in on the inside or the bottom of the card. But I'm going to clean this off, because if I went to pick that up without cleaning it, I would get ink all over my fingers. So it's your day. Lovely. We'll put that back so it doesn't get lost. And we'll take that out, and I'm going to give that a little. VersaFine inks are brilliant as well if you're doing embossing, using it with embossing powder, because it stays wet for longer, which can also be a problem. I'm bound to smudge it. Okay, so let's see. I want to put that here, like so, and that there. So I need to add some ink. So I'm going to add some ink onto my panels, and I'm going to use my quick grab ink. And I have a bin down there. That's why I'm randomly throwing things over my shoulder. I do have a bin down there. So it doesn't come as far as the bottom there, and it doesn't go as far as the top. So we're nearly to the finish. I've really enjoyed actually doing the colouring. I hope you've enjoyed watching me doing the colouring. James definitely enjoyed me doing the colouring. Thank you again, James. And I hope if any of you are there that can do a thumbs up, give James's super thanks a thumbs up there. That was very generous of him. So I'm going to add this down here. Now let's get it straight, Simone. I think that is straight. Now I don't mind, I have some glue up there at the top, and I'm not too worried about that because I want to put my Celebrate up there. So my Celebrate will go up there. Now we could put it on a bit of foam, but I think there's enough dimension. So I'm just going to add it there like that. So I'm going to put some glue up here. And just across the bottom there. It doesn't need a whole lot. Thank you guys. I'm glad you like it. I'm going to add that in there. Like so. Oh, isn't that fab? Look, you can see the dimension from the mechanism, but you can see, look, that whole thing will fold flattish to go into an envelope. It also sits nicely, just like that, on the mantle. And again, you can either fold this flat and fold that up, or fold this behind, you know, and when the recipient pulls it out of the envelope, the little piece will fall down like so, and then that sits on there. And it's not traditionally how an easel card would go. Normally this whole thing would fold in and then fold down, but I don't mind. It's in the style of. Now, a sentiment here, I think, do I have a sentiment there I want to use? We could go with celebrate, it's your day. I want a birthday sentiment, and I do have a lot. I do have some here. Let's see, do I have any? Let's have a look and see what we have. Sure, look, it's 1:45 or 3:45. We might as well have a look. We want big birthday wishes. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Nope, nope. I thought of you today, so I'm sending this beautiful. It's your birthday, it's your day. Let's all shout hip hip hooray. That one would be good. Birthday wishes just for you. I hope your day is beautiful too. Wishing you happiness for the years you've just begun. Laughter and lots of fun. I like that for my friend. From one who knows that friends like you are very beautiful and very few. We could do that and then put happy birthday. Yes, I like that. What do we think? So, from one who knows that friends like you are very beautiful and very few, and then I can pull in the happy birthday underneath it. I like that idea. And then I have a great card for a friend. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with, because I could be looking at lots of sentiments and humming and hawing, but I think that will be a nice one to have. And I do have some friends with birthdays coming up, so yeah. Oh, Mike is off back to work. Yeah, unfortunately he does have to work, so right, so I've got my card and I'm gonna have it so that it's just off, and then I can use my magnets. Lovely. So I'll put 2 there and 2 up there. So I'm gonna stamp my friend sentiment first, and we'll see how that looks. We'll try and get it straight. Of course, I will probably struggle with getting it straight. Oh, that'll grand. That'll do nicely. So we'll pull back out the VersaFine Claire. Pop that on there. Pauline said it looks awesome. Thank you. Haley said it's absolutely beautiful. Thanks so much, Haley. That's lovely. And you're all agreeing that sounds great. I think that's a nice sentiment for a friend, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I do like that. Okay, so, and don't forget, at the end of the live, I will go in and I will add in any of the products that I'm using. Most of these are all Craft Stash, so They're not available, but you may have them in your stash. And I think I'll do the happy birthday like that. I might offset it. Let me just have a look. I'm going to stick my head under the camera, so bear with me. Happy birthday. Yeah, I do like the look of it like that. Let's see, is that straight? Happy birthday. Yeah. Let's have a look. Happy birthday. Yeah, that'll do. Doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection's overrated. Right, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's have a look. Now that it has some ink on it, I'll probably see better. Yeah, it's that kind of writing that I think you get away with it being a bit wonky. I made the card, there's bound to be something wonky on it. Okay, so what I didn't check for is to see, oh, my sentiment is oh, so lucky. Okay. Really, I should have opened the card and made a little mark so I knew how far down to bring the sentiment. Yeah, okay. I think this is more the, don't tell me that's moved. Okay, let's have a look. This will be going to one of my crafty friends if it's moved. Because they'll appreciate an oopsie. Right, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of CPR. Okay. Great. Let's see. Lovely. Okay, that'll do good. I shall pop that on there in a mo. Now, what I want to do is, I have some of my Love from Lizzie peel-offs, and I have black. I want to put a little heart. Do I want to do black or what color? Let me have a look. I don't want to go with the pink, and that's kind of a pink as well. Well, it's more of a purple. Blue, it's the wrong blue. Can you see what I'm looking through? Lizzie has a plethora of all different peel-offs. I do like the holographic. Do I want to throw a holographic on there? I was hoping for a purple. I could go black, black and gold, pink holographic. No, I don't like that. I don't like the sparkle. Do I want to go black and gold or just black? Or holographic? Holographic or black? Something is telling me to go with the black, so that's what I'm going to go with. Are you shouting at me? Holographic would be nice. Go with purple. No turquoise. That was close. Phew. It was close, and to be honest, I think it could have been a bit straighter, but you know what? I'm not sweating it. I'm not. It's a handmade card, so I think when you see something a little off, it gives it that handmade look. If it was perfect, you'd kind of think, oh, that must have been thrown out from a factory. So we have purple, holographic, purple, green, color one with the marker, shining. Yeah, looks great. Green. I didn't see a green. I've got holographic, or we've gold, pink, grey, red, white, black, gold, pink holographic, I've got that kind of matches her top a little better. That's got a bit of sparkle. Do we want to go with a bit of sparkle? Okay, so let's see. Let's see. We've got black, holographic, silver, holographic, or a pink. This is like a pink glitter. So which do we think? I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Holographic for a lady card. Kim says holographic. Missy says holographic. Jeanette says none of my cards are perfect, lol. Well, do you know what? Perfection is overrated. For a lot of us, it's unattainable. So I think doing your best and making your best effort, that's what counts. I think holographic has won, guys. So I'm going to go with holographic. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a big heart. I think I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put a smaller one. Oh, the small ones are like jumping beans. They tend to take off. I'm going to put the smaller one beside this. Lovely. And I think I want to add one. Do I want to add one onto the front? Maybe I'll add them off the platform. That's what I'll do. So I might do a large one here, and I'll do a medium one up here, and I'll do a small one beside it. I think I'm going to do a medium one up here, and I'm going to add, how many is that? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't that an odd number? So isn't that grand? So we have the front of our card like so, and like I said, it folds down flat, and then we have our main card will sit down, and I don't know if you can see, it just covers up that top heart, but it just sits above the first sentiment. So the recipient, when they have that on their mantelpiece, it'll say, from one who knows that friends like you are very beautiful and very few, happy birthday. So it's celebrate, it's your day, happy birthday. That's really the message that I want to get with this card. And I think it's different to a traditional birthday card, but I think it's lovely. I think if I was going to put this into my envelope, I'm going to fold it back like so and pop it into my envelope like that. And when the recipient pulls it out, this piece is going to drop down, and they're going to know it's not going to feel right for them to sit it like that. They're going to want to sit it like that. And that's what I want. That's what I find with easel cards. I don't know if you crafters are the same, but you give someone who isn't a card maker an easel card, they don't know what to do with it. A lot of times I've given easel cards and they're standing it like this on their mantelpiece, do you know, and it's like, no, it's meant to be that way. So I think that makes it easier for the recipient. So yeah, I'm going to move back up to me. There we go. And there is our fun card. And I do love it. I love this image. I just think it's so, like, I want to be one of those ladies with two of my friends sitting on a beach somewhere. And what you can't see is, you know, they've got cocktails there. They're off to the side. And they're debating what they're going to do with the rest of their evening. So now, that is that. I'm going to have a quick look at the chat. Oh, Kim said go with glitter. Sorry, Kim. I hope you like the holographic. Shiny black with holographic. Yeah, see, that's the thing with those peel offs. So much choice. Um, Jeanette says, gorgeous card. Anne said, it looks lovely. Great card. Thanks so much, Anne. Thank you, Jeanette. Kim said, beautiful card. Pauline, awesome, gorgeous card. Thank you. Benita, I know you said it was savage earlier, but she said, lovely card. Save it for me for next year. I will, Benita. I will. I'll make you one next year. Um, uh, totally fabulous. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Lynn is telling everyone, if you can, click the thumbs up. It really helps my channel no end. It gets pushed out into the algorithm and it really does help. And you can see there as well, I've got the little thumbs up coming up to remind you. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed my card and you've missed the live, do leave a comment down below for me. I love reading your comments and I always answer your comments. It just lifts me right up when I get comments from you guys. So thank you for that. Fabulous card, Simone. Lovely card. Yeah, well, that's it now, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. Look at that. We're 2 hours in. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, James, for the super chat that you gave to me. I really appreciate it. You know it's going to go on to more crafty products. Sam has a release on Friday. So that's why I've pulled in and taken her 2 p.m. Afternoon slot because she wasn't here today to craft. So I took advantage of that. And to all my lovely crafty friends who are in the chat, I'll see you on Sam's chat on Friday. And to all of you watching, thank you so much. And I will see you again really soon. Take care, stay safe, and until next time, bye for now. Bye bye.